Earlier this spring, this was a very clear pathway, but things are just crazy right now. Hello, welcome back to the Fort Lewis farm. I wanted to give you a little tour of my garden. It has been raining off and on for about 2 weeks here, so things are big and lush and a little bit out of control, but I'd like you to see it in this state because we're going to be cleaning it up and fixing things up for the fall and the winter. I will start right here with these two beds. We had a privacy fence that went all the way the length of this row here, and we took it down. It was kind of sagging and it just needed to go, but instead of chunking the wood, we actually made these planter boxes this spring. This started out with 4 very small sweet potato plants in it, and I put some jasmine along the top, and they have just gone crazy. As you can see, there's a little bit of everything in these boxes. I've got milkweed for the butterflies here, some sort of variation of a small moonflower. There were tons of zinnias earlier this season, but right now really what's thriving is the sweet potato vine. When we put in these boxes, this was kind of a big hole that I wanted to fill, and I went to the Titus County Master Gardener sale, and they had these beautiful trumpet trees, and every couple of days it rewards me with one of these. It's so beautiful. Someone in the neighborhood has one. It's gigantic and it's just covered, but right now I'm just getting one at a time, but they're so pretty. This is a double bloom, and I imagine it smells so good. Someone has to be enjoying this. Maybe the hummingbirds during the day. This is my asparagus bed. I did not know when I planted this asparagus that it would fall over quite so dramatically. There actually is a bed underneath here. And so the plan is to maybe put a little picket fence around it to kind of keep everything contained. I've got a big lemongrass here. This has grown probably 10 times its size this season. The next bed over is full of eggplant. All of these were started from seed, and they have been highly productive. Every time I come out here, I find another one just waiting to be picked. And there's a few in the back here growing. These will be ready soon. Here's a beautiful black beauty, but there's Japanese eggplant, a couple of different varieties. There is a lighter purple variety on that side. This started out as 6 little plants, and I didn't know that they would get this big. So next year I think I'm going to move them to the back of one of the larger beds. Next to that we have peppers. I have some serrano type peppers. They're similar to a hatch. The padron peppers are in here. There are jalapenos growing, and Zulu bell peppers that turn purple when they're ripe. These are actually turning red, and so I'm not sure if maybe they've been cross-pollinated, but here is a purple one. So you can see they turn this lovely shade of purple when they're ripe. They're so beautiful. So everything here is done organically without chemicals, and I try to use a very natural approach in my gardening. That does lead sometimes to small pest problems. Like you can see some of these leaves have been munched on a little, but that's okay. The majority of the plant is healthy and happy. And there's an expression that if nothing's eating out of your garden, then it's not really part of the ecosystem. So I want to be part of that system, even if it means I lose a pepper or a tomato here and there. That's fine. I like to share. These are turnips that I just planted, and I realize they're very close together, but as they get a little bit bigger, I'll thin some out and eat the greens, and then leave the biggest, healthiest ones to make actual turnip bulbs. There are lots of cats in my neighborhood, so as I plant seedlings, I usually put some sort of wiring over the top until they get big enough to deter the cats. This is exciting. If you look in here, there are 2 different varieties of kale. They're very, very small coming up right now. And these are some radishes. These are watermelon radish, and they're coming along very nicely. They've only been in for a couple of weeks. This monster is sweet potato. I put 4 or 5 sweet potato slips in, and they, as you can see, they've completely encompassed this area. They've gotten huge. On the edges of all my beds, I like to leave volunteers that pop up in the season. These are marigolds. They're not blooming right now, but they will be, and they have. But I kind of just let things like that stay with us. They're good for the pollinators. I've got a few herbs in this section. Here's some pretty broadleaf sage, basil. I've harvested tons and tons of basil this year. There should be beets coming up here soon. This pepper is pretty cool. This is called a Chinese 5 spice or Chinese 5 pepper. And the reason for that is that as it ripens, they turn all these various shades. So they all start out purple and then they'll turn red and yellow and orange. Some of them even turn white. They're really pretty. We've got chives, rosemary, more marigolds. These are red bell peppers. They're still green. Oh, I don't know what kind of pepper this is. I think it's some sort of pimento. It's a sweet pepper. It's good. I don't know what it is though. These are more volunteers. I know it's kind of inconvenient, but I just sort of step around them. These are zinnias. Aren't those pretty? They just showed up. This is a mullein, and this is also a volunteer, but I've been wanting to hang on to it to make a tincture out of that's supposed to be really good for respiratory issues in the winter. So I'd like to do something with that. And I've got baby carrots coming up here. Lots of little ones. They've got a way to go. Can't remember what I put there. But look at the lettuce. It's all very small. But this is called salad bowl lettuce, and so it's just a bunch of small varieties of lettuce. And then the tail end of the okra, there's only a couple of plants left, but you can see here's a baby. I'll get probably 1 or 2 more pods. I did not plant enough, so I've just been eating it as it becomes ripe. None of it's actually made it in the house. Maybe next year. This is a small little greenhouse that I do my seedlings in. These fabric containers I've done some potatoes in. I tried tomatoes, that didn't really work. This is my compost, and it's got kind of a primordial ooze coming out of the bottom right now. We've had so much rain. It's not very pretty to look at. The elephant ears sort of take over every year. I'm going to try to tame them a little bit better next year. Maybe dig them up as they pop up and move them. But yeah, that's kind of the state of things right now. These peppers will all have to go at the first frost. All those sweet potatoes are coming out, and that's going to free up a lot of space for more winter greens. Maybe get some collards and lots more kale in the ground. Definitely more carrots, and yeah. Come look at this. I mean, how crazy is the size of this leaf? Like, they're huge. They just look so prehistoric to me. I wish I could find one. I have a lot of tree frogs that like to live on these. Oh, and all tucked in the foliage, they're blooming. So a bloom, it kind of starts out as this nice little cone, and then you'll find the stamen in the center of them. They're pretty neat. And the rest of this is just sort of ornamental things. They've just kind of gone wild. Bush pepper is really good. So that's the garden. I hope you guys will follow along as we change things up and move things around and get ready for the next growing season just around the corner. If you guys enjoyed this video, or if you'd like to see more content like this, leave me a comment below, like the video, and subscribe. and I hope to see you again.